20,647 miles on the Street Bob. We're overdue for a 20,000 mile review. Let's get to it. All right, everybody, what is up? What is up? As always, thanks for stopping by to another video today. We are here with my 2022 Harley Davidson Softail Street Bob, and we have another milestone review for you guys today. I recently hit 20,000 miles on my Street Bob on a recent road trip that I was on up to the Finger Lakes in New York. And as you guys know with my bikes, I usually like to check in with a little bit of an update, a little bit of a review for you guys, pretty much every kind of like 5K interval. I feel like that's kind of a good time frame to learn a little bit more about the bike, any updates of any changes I've made, any new stuff that's going on with the bike at that point in time. So we are ready for a 20,000 mile review of my 2022 Harley Davidson Softail Street Bob today. Pretty big milestone. I was pretty happy to hit that. And if you guys have been tuning in for a while, you know I recently did a 15K review, so I've been doing a lot of riding this summer. I think I'm almost a little over 10,000 miles on the year so far. I started somewhere around, I think it was like somewhere around 11,000 or something like that, and I'm actually almost pushing 21,000 now. We're a few weeks late on this 20,000 mile review. But a lot of really good riding with the bike this year, several multiple day 1,000-mile trips, a couple 100-mile day trips, all that good stuff. So if you guys have been tuning in for a little bit, you know how I like to set these reviews up. I like to talk a little bit about my experience with reliability, looks, form, and function, and then I like to hop on the bike and talk a little bit about what the riding experience has been like within this past 5K interval. So of course we'll go ahead and get it started with a very easy, simple one of reliability after 20,000 miles. And if you guys saw my 15K review or my 10K review, this is going to fall in line. Very easy one to start with. No issues again at this point in time in the past 5,000 miles, 20K. I've had absolutely no problems, no issues mechanically, functionally, anything with the engine, the frame, the components, electronics. Actually, let me take that back. I did blow a fuse at one point in time. Not sure what caused it. The bike wouldn't start. Diagnosed it, figured out what it was, replaced the fuse, fired right back up. Never had any issue like that moving forward. So I don't know if you want to call that one simple issue that did take place, but in 20,000 miles with this bike, again, it's 3 years old, so absolutely no problems from the engine, the components, electronics, anything like that. That's just my experience, knock on wood. Hopefully it stays that way as we continue to ride and rack up miles on this bike. I've had no reliability or functional issues with this bike. If you guys have any different experiences out there, drop it down in the comments and let me know. Be curious to hear any of the issues or concerns, complaints that you guys have come across with your Softails. Not just the Street Bob, any other Softails out there that you guys have any issues that you have come across along the way. One thing that I am a little concerned about is getting up into that 20K mile range. At some point in time, components and stuff do start to fail just from typical wear and tear and everything like that. So I imagine something is going to happen or break along the way as we push 25, 30, 35,000 miles on this bike. If you guys have any experience of just natural things that have worn out or had to be replaced around 20K to 30K in this range that I'm going to start pushing up to, definitely let me know what to be aware of down in the comments. Drop a comment down there. Let me know some of your experiences. And again, I've been able to maintain a lot of that reliability with all just basic simple maintenances. We've done tires and basically just your 5K fluid changes every 5,000 miles, oil, transmission, primary, all that good stuff, just basic maintenance and upkeep. I do clean the air filter within those maintenances, check all the bolts, belts, tighten everything, make sure everything's good to go. All that simple maintenance. Bike has been great and reliable for me. Next up, when we start to look at looks, form, and function of this bike, you guys know this is a minimalistic, stripped down bobber cruiser style motorcycle. So it is going to come very simple and basic from the factory. I truly believe that this is one of the last true fully customizable blank canvases from Harley. You used to have the Sportster, used to have the Softail Standard. Now all you really have is the Street Bob to really make this thing your own. Yeah, you can modify all the other bikes and stuff, but I really believe this gives you the biggest true blank canvas. So from a review perspective of how this is going to come stock, as you can see, I've got several modifications, upgrades on the bike, which makes it a little harder to explain or review from a stock perspective. perspective because I've been pretty much riding it like this and upgrading it along the way for the past 3 years. But what I will do is go ahead and kind of explain how it's going to come from the factory and considerations for some of those things in that style if you don't like it. So obviously, starting up front, the stock Street Bob is going to come totally bare and naked up front. You're not going to have a fairing like this. You're going to have the 10-inch mini apes. So just some simple reasons. I do a lot of traveling on the highway. I upgraded the risers and bars, thrash and supply for comfort, and threw this fairing on there for a little bit of wind protection while I'm traveling. Remember, from a stock review perspective, you're not going to have any of that stuff. If you think about the gas tank, one thing that people complain a lot is you've got a 3.5 gallon gas tank here on the Street Bob. Something to consider with your style of riding. You're going to get about maybe 150 to 170 miles to a gallon on this. A lot of people complain about it. I'm not sure why. It doesn't bother me. I do tons of trips and I don't know, I just make it work. Doesn't bother me. I kind of like the small, sleek design. Would I like a little extra gas for less stops every now and then? Probably, but just something to keep in mind. 3.5 gallons on the gas tank. You've got the Milwaukee 8114 on this 2022 version. Plenty of power, plenty of torque to get you going anywhere you want to go. Highway, back roads, city, light to light, stop and go, anything you want to do. This is going to give you enough power to really do it. If anybody tells you otherwise, or if anybody else tells you that this engine's trash or break down or whatever, again, I've had no bad experiences with it. I love this engine. It does everything I want it to, even more than I would ever even ask from it. Some other things to keep in mind from a stock perspective: it will come with just your traditional Harley foot pegs. I upgraded those to cross-thread cycle floorboards, just a little extra comfort. I put a 2-to-1 exhaust in there. Again, it's going to come 2-to-2 with this variation of 2022 Harley Softail Street Bob. So if you're looking for extra noise, a little extra power, anything like that, obviously you're going to throw a new exhaust on there. Always taking into consideration the seat. The stock seat, very small, simple, minimalistic. Some people keep it on there if you're doing a lot of long distance traveling or anything like that. You're going to want some more comfort. I threw the San Diego Custom Saddleman step-up seat on here. I really like it. Even threw a little extra cushion on there as well. Also coming to the back with the theme of a minimalistic stripped down bobber cruiser bike. You're not going to have any stock luggage on here, so I did put these Viking bags on here. They have been great for me. Again, you're not going to have like a lowrider ST bag. You're not going to have heritage style bags on there. It's going to be totally bare the whole way through. So if you want that stuff, it is something to consider. You're going to have to put on there aftermarket. Also not going to come with a sissy bar. You're going to have to put that on there yourself as well, which I did for just some extra storage options to strap stuff on there. So you can see from here a lot of the changes that I did from the bike really kind of set it up for what I use it for most, which is traveling. So again, it's going to be very bare, minimalistic, to really give you that opportunity to do whatever you want with this bike from the factory. If you want to strip it down even further, turn it into even more of a bobber, throw some white walls on there, throw some bigger apes on there, anything like that you want to do. As you can see, I took it a little bit more of like a mini bagger traveling type route. I've also seen people turn these into like STs. You can do different forks, dual disc, throw a ST fairing on there, throw bags on there. You can really do anything with this bike. The possibilities are absolutely endless. So hopefully that gives you guys a good idea of the first two topics: reliability, looks, form, and function. Now we're going to hop on the bike. We're going to take it out on a backcountry road. Nice little ride today. Beautiful weather going on here in the Philadelphia region. Talk a little bit about the riding experience and how it has handled these past 5,000 miles, this past 5,000 interval that I just completed, and then let you guys know what all that consisted of, the style of riding that was involved in that last 5,000 miles. Alrighty guys, so on the bike now, I'm going to talk a little bit about what that last 5,000 miles has been like to get me up to this 20,000 mark. So I have mentioned before that I do a pretty well-rounded amount of riding with this bike. Everything from the city to the suburbs to the back roads to the highways, but this last 5,000 miles from 15 to 20K has kind of been a lot of traveling and highway type miles on some of these longer trips that I've been doing. I really haven't been using the Street Bob a whole lot around the city in this last stretch of miles. So a lot of the miles have been coming on the highway. I have some family that is on the totally opposite side of Pennsylvania. Really the only good way to get there is kind of the highway, the turnpike to 322, to 79 up near Erie, Pennsylvania. And it's just a lot of highway miles. It ends up being around 400 miles one way, so almost 800 miles round trip when I do that, and that really racks up the miles. I think I've done that twice in this last 5,000 mile interval, and like I said, it always handles fine, does really well. After some of those long stretches on the highway though, I am pretty much kind of needing to get on a slower back road or hop off and take a break. Another trip that I did that is encompassed in this past 5,000 mile interval was a tour of the New England states. I tried to hit everything from Vermont, New Hampshire to Maine, Rhode Island, Connecticut, back through New York, New Jersey, PA. I think I hit like 9 states. It was about 1,000 miles in 2.5 days. Again, no complaints, bike handled absolutely perfect, nothing went wrong. Again, some of those little bit longer highway stretches, and especially some of the stuff through like Boston into New York City coming back, was a little bit rough. I'm worn out, I'm tired, taking a lot of wind. I think those are some of the cases where, you know, you probably probably prefer to have a bagger in some of those scenarios. But like I said, bike handled it flawlessly, didn't really need to pack a whole lot, so of course that's one thing to consider with the Street Bob on some of those longer trips. I really just kind of threw a small bag in my saddlebags, didn't really worry about packing too much, and the bike handled really well on that 1,000 mile trip. The next one that was in there was about another 1,000 miles through the Finger Lakes. I went up through PA to New York, to Cooperstown, New York. I did make a full video on that one. If anybody wants to check it out, that'll be back in my library of videos. But then went west across New York, hit all the Finger Lakes. Again, highway and back roads, the bike handled perfectly good on the back roads. A lot of beautiful scenery up there too. And a similar thing with like storage and packing considerations there. It was really like 2.5, 3 days. I didn't pack a whole lot. I just threw enough of what I needed in these Viking saddlebags that I have, and it was perfect. That's one of the things that you're really gonna have to consider if you're thinking about this bike for long trips anyways. You're gonna need a sissy bar or some bags to throw on the bike to travel with any of the stuff you're gonna need. Another trip that was in there was down to Ocean City, Maryland. That one really only ended up being maybe like 400-ish miles. There was a lot of just hanging at the beach on that one, but again, similar thing, got me everywhere I needed to go with reasonable effort and comfort. Highway, back roads up through Delaware and things like that. Bike handled them absolutely perfect and flawless. And then just some other miscellaneous day trips, like right now I'm out on some of the back roads of Chester County, Pennsylvania. I was over in Lancaster County, PA. It's like I always end up saying with a lot of my reviews of this bike, it is very versatile and functional. It's gonna do really anything you want it to do. You just gotta set it up exactly to what you want it to do, to be specific to your function of how you want to ride this bike, how you want to use it. Is it going to be a little uncomfortable at times? Yes. Is it a soft tail with a monoshock? Yes. Might you get a little cramped? You're going to take wind. I just got on the highway. You can probably hear all the wind, but you just deal with it the best you can. If you like the bike and this is what you want, you're going to be able to do whatever you want with it. I will say, after a lot of the traveling that I have done on the highway and long distance with this bike this year, I do finally get it to where, yeah, obviously a bagger is going to be a lot better for a lot of this stuff. It's going to be more comfortable. It's going to get you more range, longer stretches with the gas tank and things like that. But so that'll start to wrap this one up for now. Again, a 20,000 mile review of my Harley Davidson Softail Street Bob. If you guys have any questions I missed, any comments of things you'd like to know about the bike or the way I use the bike, feel free to drop them down in the comments. I will try to address as many of those as I can. As always, make it a good one, guys. Ride safe out there. It's the Moto John. We'll see you all on down the road. Peace.